right, in this chapter, we're going to look at inferential statistics. And our first chapter is about random sampling. So, kind of the point of statistics is to collect data on a population or a group of people or things in order to analyze that data and uh, make some kind of inference about either the population or kind of what you're doing in general. So statistics is it's an area of mathematics that deals with collecting, and then you analyze the data, and then you interpret that data. So data is also gathered about a large population. For example, usually every 10 years, there's a census, and it collects data on all residents of the United States. And the characteristics of a population is called the parameter. Okay, so when you're collecting information about the population, that's called a parameter. It's not always, a good idea. You can't always collect data on every single person, right, about a certain subject or uh, about a certain thing. So we do a thing called a sampling, but it needs to be representative of the whole population. And a characteristic of a sample is called a statistic. So we have parameter that deals with the population. We have a statistic that deals with the sample. So to draw accurate conclusions, we need to make sure that our sample is unbiased. Okay, so that's why we do a random sample. So bias is the type of error that results in when we misrepresent the population. So to avoid this bias, we need to do that random sample. So that is, the sample should be chosen without any pattern or order, and it's truly random process each time um, in a sample that we get an equal opportunity to be chosen. So each individual has an equal opportunity to be chosen. That's what it means to be random. Okay. And so in order to do it and classify, if we have a random sample, we have this one example right here. We have administrator of Jefferson High School and developed a free app to their students with studying and organization. At the end of the school year, the students were asked to complete an online survey about their satisfaction with the app. So we want to classify this sample, okay? So we want to see, is there any bias in this sample? Is it a random sample? Does everybody have an equal opportunity to cast their vote or do this online survey? So we have a simple random, and that is each member has an equal chance of being selected. That's what it means by simple random sample. Okay, systematic is members are selected according to a specific interval. So like every third person, I select every third person, or I select every first person, or every other person. That would be systematic. Okay, so there's some kind of order to it. Self-selected means members volunteer in order to be included in the sample. So that means self-selected. So they choose to take part in the sample. Okay, and then we have a convenience one, which members are readily available to select. So convenience would be like you're just sitting in the lunchroom and you sample the 5 people that are sitting next to you. That would be a convenient sample. And then we have a stratified sample, which members are selected from familiar or overlapping groups. So like stratified might be an example of like males and females, or maybe by state, the different states, you do samples in each state. Okay, so first thing we want to do is we want to identify what is the population. So of this scenario, what is the population? And that population would be Jefferson High School, right? Because who are we collecting data on? The students of Jefferson High School. So that would be our population, students of Jefferson High School. So that would be our population. Okay, and then we want to identify the sample. So who is the sample? So when we do the sample, we're looking at who are we collecting data on specifically, right? So we're collecting data on the students, that's our population, but who is actually taking part in it, okay? And that would be the sample. So those are the sample, that's going to be the students that participate. So if you didn't take the online survey, then you're not part of the sample. You're still part of the population, but you're not a part of the sample. And so what type is this then? If it was all students at Jefferson High School and then only the samples only included those that participated, is it a simple random one where everybody has an equal chance? Is it systematic? Is there some kind of order to it? Is it self-selected? Did the person opt into or volunteer to be a part of the sample? Or is it a convenient sample, something like you happen to be around some people, so those people are in the survey? Or is it stratified? Is it selected into certain groups? So this one is a self-selected because they selected themselves by completing the online survey. They selected themselves to be in the survey. So this is a self-selected sample. Okay, and that's how you classify. So here are your options right here when you're asked to classify. Okay, simple random sample, that is one that equal chance to everybody, and that's kind of what we want. That's the ideal. Systematic is a certain order to it. Self-selected means you volunteer to be in the sample. And then convenience is where you're available. Those people around you are available, or you sit on the sidewalk and you just whoever comes by, you ask them to be in the sample. And then stratified is selected in certain groups.